Hey everyone, Rascal here.
And Mama, welcome to our World of Paws series.
With season 4 over, we wanted to cover one of the more controversial arcs of My Hero Academia, which is the recent school festival arc.
When the arc was first put into the manga, many people stated that this was the worst of the series because it wasn't a villain-focused arc or neither included any action. Now, when this arc hit the anime, many people began to defend it as a great comedy and before its incoming war arc. So, the question is the school festival arc really that bad?
And before we get to that, be sure to like, subscribe, and click the notification bell to get updates on future podcasts and World of Pods videos.
Yes.
So yes.
Was it really that bad?
Not to me.
Okay, I must admit, full disclosure, when I first saw it in the manga, the first thing I said is, this has been done a million times before. Oh no, this is an old tired trope. This is not going to be great. I am happy to say I was wrong. And I did remember telling you, I said, I could possibly be wrong. Maybe seeing it in print is not as exciting because you don't have the action and you're not hearing the songs and things. And yes, I'm right. I was wrong.
And we actually had seen a lot of this on Twitter because at the time this wasn't in the anime yet. We were catching up with the print, so we actually had gotten to read it in the manga form. And for me, I personally enjoyed it whether it was manga or anime. I could see, like, seeing it come to life has a different experience, but I didn't get when people had said, oh, this is boring, this is lame and stuff, and it's like, but you're okay when Disney does it 50,000 times over. You're okay when you got musicals based off of things you didn't know could be turned into musicals. So it really shocked me when people thought this was boring for the show, when a lot of people, especially in America, love to do musicals and songs and stuff for different content.
Now, that's okay having the opinion. I think what really shocked me was when people stated they no longer wanted to read the manga, they were throwing them away.
Yeah, they just quit.
Like, huh? What?
Yeah, and this was before the stuff happened with the name of a villain later on. But before then, when it was announced that, the next arc for season 4 was coming out, there were people a lot of people actually say they weren't excited for it because they quit reading the manga when it got to that. There was no action. They weren't focusing on the League of Villains, nothing about All for One. There was nothing about the villains and the fighting or the training, so they just quit because it wasn't interesting anymore.
Well, actually, they did have a villain. They had Gentle Criminal.
Either that or they didn't like Deku. Yeah, either that or they didn't like the Deku's too powerful or whatever. But yeah, like they did have one. It's not the League of Villains like you see like the past 3 seasons, but they had one, and it was a different outcome of it not being deadly dire because the last 3 times they had to escape with their lives.
And another thing I remember saying is, before I got to see it in anime, I said, it's only a small part of the season anyway. So, I mean, people reacting in the strong way that they did just doesn't make any sense. Technically, it's a small portion of the anime. It was 3 episodes. That's it. 3 episodes out of 27 episodes. So even if you still didn't want to see it, or you still didn't like it, then just skip the episodes and pick back up after that arc.
Right.
But again, I was really happy that it turned out great. It was more exciting to see it in anime. And they had added a few little scenes for the fans that were not in the manga.
Right.
And it was great to hear the voice actress who does Jiro's
the singing voice?
Yes, it was great to...
yeah.
Was it 2 different people?
I think, yeah, they said it was 2 different.
It was great to hear whoever did her singing voice do her singing voice. She is absolutely beautiful. So, again, it was so different than seeing it in the manga. Again, why the strong reaction? Why all of the negativity?
Right.
And the strong reaction and the, I'm not going to read anymore. Then don't. We won't miss you. Neither will poor Koshi. See you later.
Yeah, and the weird thing is that this happens a lot with people who read the manga. I didn't think it did until they got to later on. As soon as it diverges from its normal story, it seems people lose interest very quickly. Now, of course, that's not everybody, but for the few that do, that it's very strange. Like I said, some people quit some people quit when it got to this festival arc. Some people quit when it got to the overall arc because they thought overall was a weak villain. Some people quit when they have the revelation about Deku and his powers. Quit because they thought he's not an underdog anymore. You made it uninteresting. So they just find it's like people find reasons to quit reading something that's really, really popular. If you just want to stop reading it, then just say, I'm not really into this as much as I was into. I'm gonna quit for now. Maybe I'll get back into it later. That's all you gotta do. But don't degrade the writing because it's not going the way you want it.
Well, that seems to be the way it is for a lot of things in life. And I think the worst part of that is when they get onto Twitter and they start going, this is the worst crap ever, or I can't stand MHA, or MHA fans are stupid. Oh, you're not saying BNHA, so you're an idiot. That kind of stuff is just like,
I don't care. What?
Get a life. Get a life. And if you don't enjoy the life in the manga, and you don't enjoy the life in the anime, get another life.
Right. And it was another thing about it is that they say, oh, there's no action, it's not interesting, it's boring. It's like okay, if you have read more than just the first page, more than just preparing for trouble, and then you get to further in, there is action. It may not be with Shigaraki and All For One and Stain. It may not be them, but it's still there. It was just doing a new format. And a lot of people said, here's the thing. When you have shows and stories that have a lot of action, a lot of fighting, a lot of tense stuff, season 3 or the third arc, the season 3 and part of season 4 already had intense things happening with Bako getting kidnapped, All Might retiring, you had Overhaul, Mira lost his quirk, it was near the end of the world. All that crap happened in season 3 and in part of season 4. And so I'm gonna point out, if you had this arc get action and intense stuff, it's gonna be way too much. You're gonna be in constant battle mode the whole time. No one gets a break, the characters don't get a break, and the viewer or reader doesn't get a break. And then you would have to stop and wait a little bit before you continue because it's too much action going on. This was just meant to be a breather and something fun, because once that war arc happens, all the crap's gonna hit the fan.
Well, maybe they forget that it's high school. Maybe
they
forget that these are not adults. Maybe they forget this is not the DC or Marvel comic universes where there's constant violence and action non-stop. There's no plot, there's no story. It didn't used to be that way, but recently it is. And they forget that Horikoshi knows how to make a complete book. Let me rephrase that. He knows how to make a complete story.
Yeah.
He knows it's more than just, not even arc, the entire series, the entire manga series. It's varied, it's layered, there's lots of different stuff. Different people get their spotlight. There's characters that are loved, there's characters that are not loved. It runs the whole gambit. And as you said, and I agree, if it's constant taking down villains, fighting, taking down villains, fighting, where's the story? Where are the backstories? Where's the individual stories? Where's the humor? Where's all the things that make his manga series great? They won't be there if all you're doing is constantly taking down villains.
Right. And that's what's really great about it. When they do have comedy episodes, they're one episode's already in the story and they just manage to fit it into the story with the action. Or if it's not from the manga, it's like a anime only filler episode where, remember, they had the one where it was they had the one with the pool episode,
right.
And that was just filler. It was filler.
That was popular,
right? It was a filler episode. It was meant to be fun. And it was getting ready for season 3 because all the crap was gonna happen. Then you had they had one where they had a mini story of them doing if they have to stop bad guys from having a bank to solve a mystery, and they're like, what does this have to do with our schoolwork? And it was also a sort of in-between episode to show the events before the Two Heroes movie.
Right.
And then, of course, you have the OVAs, which were non-canonical. And then you have one with the guy visiting the school, interviewing all the students, and he's figuring out who was the next successor to All Might. And all those worked. Those were fine. No one really said anything about those, but it seems like they don't want it for more than one episode, whether it's part of the story or not. If it goes on for more than an episode or two, it seems to Like, are they like losing their attention span or something? Because it's not.
Oh no, Disney. Okay, so let's talk about the actual festival arc. The great things were, again, everyone in here got a spotlight, a little bit of spotlight, a little bit of attention. Minetta even got his 1 second of fame. It was awesome. I'm so glad that I was wrong. You know, they got a dedicated opening for the season that focused on the festival art. So we got to see it bright and cheery,
right.
And all the orange T-shirts and everything going. And the only thing I remember saying is, I think I would have liked if there had been a regular, action opening we like, and then for the 3 episodes that had the festival arc, then we got that special little 3-episode opening, and then it went back to the original one.
So make like three openings instead of just 2?
There would have been the regular opening all the way up to whatever episode the festival arc started, and then the one that we're getting for the whole season would have been the opening just for those 3 episodes, and it would have been like a surprise, and then back to the regular.
Right.
But I have no problem with it being done the way it was done.
Right.
But I think I would have liked it to have been a little surprise and a little extra addition to that arc, where you got the special festival opening just during the 3 episodes that it took place.
Right. And you also need to point out that there was an alternate way it could have gone, and then it would have been like building up to something and then never happening, which happens a lot here, where the building up an arc or a return of somebody and then all of a sudden it vanishes. Like they said that if any villain or something comes to the school, they would shut down the whole festival immediately. So the whole point for Deku to fight Gentle Criminal was to keep that from happening. Because think about it, what if he got away with it? What if he actually showed up at there and then they had to shut it down? Then it was back to being, okay, you need to fight for your lives again. Okay, he wasn't that level threat, but still, it would have ruined the build-up of seeing any type of fun in it. It would have been back to being like
True.
Season 3 and beginning Season 4 with all the doom and gloom and crap.
Very true. And of course, he got chided for not having asked for help or letting anyone know what was going on. But he made a split decision, and he did everything he could successfully to stop the festival from being canceled, which was true Deku style. I mean, that's just him.
Right.
And during this arc, it was pretty brilliant how they had the festival, and they still had the little bit of action. It may not have been the criminals you wanted, but it was a more gentle criminal during the festival arc.
Right.
Gentle criminal and the Brava.
Right.
And you ended up, actually, they're supposed to be the villains, and they ended up being like Jesse and James, because you're supposed to not like them, but you ended up actually liking both of them during this whole fight.
Right. You got their backstory.
Right.
You got why were they so persistent on getting this done, because of he failed so many times. He thought being a villain would be his big break, and it was just like so much stuff that said right hard. And then in a way, that's what they said. Deku was almost like the villain because it was like something they wanted to do, and he was stopping them. Like, you knew they shouldn't be doing that and messing up. You got both sides, but you could see like it was almost close to a role reversal with him stopping them like a villain.
Which is also the brilliance of Horikoshi. Just thinking, someone taking the time to write something like that is exactly as you said, and then you're not supposed to like them, but you like them, and you're like, oh, and then you're shipping them, and you're like, oh, and La Brava is so cute, she's like, my gentle, and you're sitting there almost crying over 2 people you never met before, you're not going to see again most likely, and you're drawn into their little ship and what makes them work.
Right.
And you realize also that they're not violent criminals. He really was doing a prank. Think about it. It was a freaking prank.
Right.
It was like a high school prank. And he wasn't going to hurt anyone or do any harm to anyone.
He would just show up.
Exactly.
Right. And you think about when you saw his other crime before he got to that one, he pulled a stick up a convenience store. He didn't hurt the guy. He just said, just put the money in there. He recorded himself.
Right.
And they're showing up. Okay, it failed. And he gave back the money and he left. Didn't hurt a single person. He said, what kind of criminal doesn't hurt anybody? He just okay, it's over. Never mind. And yeah, he just probably would have shown up and then he would have ran. That was it. That was his debut video, I guess.
Then we actually got to live tweet during the episode, and it was just amazing. Thousands and thousands of people going, oh my gosh, you're so cute. Oh my gosh, she's adorable. Oh my gosh, I love them together. And oh no, don't hurt them. Give them another chance. And this is what was being said about two people, again, that we really didn't know. So I know I say it all the time, the brilliant Horikoshi, getting you to fall for people that you weren't even supposed to fall for.
Right.
Getting you to care for people that you weren't even supposed to care for.
Right.
So, and Deku ends up, doing the right thing, and they end up getting a second chance.
Right. Now, and they even added a little extra scene where, he tells them why he did it. Because that wasn't really in the manga. It's like it's understood that he knew, but in here they had it verbally spoken, and he felt kind of remorseful about it because he was so much like Deku. Like, this is if he was so much like Deku, was showing like this is if Deku gave up. This is if he gave up and just went straight to the dark side and was desperate. So it was really interesting to see like how these villains and stuff can relate to him, and he's like almost like seeing different outcomes of what happened if like what you're seeing now didn't happen.
And Baba kept saying, she said, he's like you, Gentle. He's like you. So that was great. And then you got to roll into the festival taking place.
Right.
And before that, of course, we got to see them preparing.
Right.
And how Moneta was really serious about what he was doing.
Right.
Which was another one of those shocking moments.
Right.
And he kept saying, where's Deku? He should be back by now. Well, and it was so funny when Shoto said he didn't take it, he hasn't called. He didn't take his phone with him or something like that.
Right. So I'm sure he's fine.
Right.
Like, if only you knew. And you also, of course, everyone loves Bakugo can play the drums. Add that to his list of things he can suddenly do.
Yes. Bakugo is a Renaissance man.
It's like okay, what can you now do? If you sing too, it's like okay.
And
like the musical.
In true Bakugo form, we're gonna beat him. We're gonna kill him.
Right.
He got really serious about doing great and just knocking him out with the music and the performance.
Right. And I love it. It's now everybody can see it. Well, get them and drag them here so they can say that. It's like, no, that's it. We're done.
And then the performance took place.
Right. And we got the Hero 2 song.
Yes.
That was, and it was really fun seeing that come to life because for some people it says that the artwork was messed up when it was live. Reading it on Viz Media, he said that when it got published, they took the submission that had like the work in progress art. So it was a while before he submitted the finished art. So a lot of people didn't even get to see it finished. In the manga, it was like lines and stuff, and they were wondering something went wrong, and they had gotten the wrong things. They weren't even able to see it in its entirety. It looked like it wasn't even complete done when they sent it out.
And I like how they focused on the audience a little bit at first, and we could see, of course, they were
snooty.
They were snooty, but they're also skeptical. This is going to be great. This is going to be boring. Which they were mirroring what a lot of the people who read the manga said.
Right.
Another brilliant Horikoshi moment. Oh yeah, sure. It's going to be great. And then the music starts. And then at first they're still a little skeptical and a little sarcastic. And then you start to see it change. You start to see the faces change. You start to see the people paying more attention. You start to see them get excited. And suddenly it's like, ah!
and then also you have like from the start of it to the end. It's really just fun from beginning to end.
Yes.
And then the part you're really looking forward to the most is the performance. And I think for me, the only time I was kind of like that was because when they said about the singing. I did think it was funny that people watching in Japan, it was all in Japanese, and then they heard the singing, it was in English. They said, "What happened to the language?" And then for here, I was like, okay, they always have a great singer on the shows and stuff. You know, like they have guest stars and stuff. And I think they had one of their more famous band called Kanbun. I think they were doing the music, and the lead singer was doing Jiro's singing voice here. Okay. I hadn't heard it before. I just kept hearing people say the same thing, like, "Oh my gosh!" And it's like, okay, well, why? That's normal. They always do that. And then you heard it, and it's like, what's it? Wow. It's like, okay, every song sucks now.
Now, the one negative is, what in the heck were they wearing? The guys, when they were up there and they were doing
like
the dance.
Pencils.
What are you wearing?
They look like pencils or something.
And that was the negative. And of course, then after the performance, then you got to go. You know, they were so excited that they really liked it, and they were so excited that they had brought some joy, which they said was their goal, is to bring everyone some joy.
Right.
And they did it. They absolutely did it.
Right. And it really fit. Well, just like we were saying since the beginning, was that look at all the crap that happened. There was a major loss with the overhaul arc. You had a major loss with the rescue arc. You had a major loss with the license arc. There was so much like good and bad happening with all three arcs. Like, it's time you get a break. Time to have some fun. Time to actually see there's still great things happening even with these little things happening. And then, you know, once it's over, then they'll get back to, you know, the other stuff happening, because you know for the last two episodes they're going to have this little arc going on with Endeavor and Hawks, right, and the announcement of the new #1 hero. Right. And if you read the manga, yeah, you know what's coming, so there's plenty of time now to get back into the action. And then, of course, the Liberation Army, so you know it's going to go back to being the stuff you really, really want to see. For those people that only like the action, is going to get back to that. This was just a little break so you would have some fun. And there, you got to smile.
I was just going to say, let's not forget who brought the most joy to was Ari.
Yeah.
And you got to see Mirio.
Right.
And you got to see him, for some reason, show his butt in the bushes.
I don't know where that was from. I was like, yes. Is that in the manga? But
you got to see her smile and be happy and excited. And you got to see Deku give her the apples he made with Sato.
Yeah, some candy apples.
It was like, oh my goodness. And you said, oh, Deku can act. I keep saying Deku, why? And you said Deku can actually cook, and that was hilarious.
Yeah, because usually I always have, one person cooking and no one else can.
So it was great to see her smiling and happy, and Mirio again, and him smiling and happy, and they got to see the full payoff for everyone, what they went through to save her. So this was like, you know, a celebration that they did the right thing, that Chesuke is gone, that there was a little bit of normalcy just for a little bit of time.
That's your high school normalcy for a while, right?
So I'm happy to say, I'm very happy that I was right, that I was wrong, and I love the arc, and we're actually going to watch those 3 episodes again.
Yeah, it's going to be fun.
So we can see the little things that we missed.
Right. Because there's probably a lot more detail or maybe extra scenes, because there is one scene I thought was hilarious when they were putting out ideas before they got the band one, and it's like, you realize that's because nothing else would work with them, or someone would always be like someone off with it, so the band was the only thing they could do normally. And Kaminari suggested a maid cafe like Maid Sama, and it's like, you know, that actually does sound fun, even though he's like missing one girl, and you're thinking, okay, you kind of want to be drop kicked now, but you're thinking, you know, that, they were like, yeah, that could work, that's an option. And then it said, no, too tame, and he suggested something really messed up, and then he's like, you know, forget it.
And the last thing we should mention is the beauty contest. And the,
oh my
The
gosh!
one who had won over and over and over and over. And she was constantly winning, and she had these long lashes and this hairstyle and this flowing empress type gown. And you really thought she was going to win a game.
Right.
But Kendo won.
Right.
And of course, everyone wanted to hurry and finish up and clean up so they could get to go see.
Right. Oh wait, it was Nejire, right? That's the one with the lavender hair. Okay, I had to make sure.
So they made sure that they got to see it.
Right.
And of course, they let you see all the reactions and the guys, the excitement.
Right. Oh, and don't forget Class 1B's play, which was plagiarism. Romeo and Juliet, the Prince of Azkaban, Return of the King,
starring the Joker, Monoma.
with Gandalf. Like, what play is this? It's a completely original play. And someone said, I think I've heard of this before.
Well, Monoma is on his way to being the Joker. I hope you guys can see it. He is going to be the villain that graduates from this class.
Right.
Guaranteed.
Oh, yeah.
So, whether you like the three episode arc or not, let us know what you think of the festival arc in the comments below.
Right. And be sure to like, subscribe, and click the notification bell to get updates on future podcasts and World of Paws videos.
Yes.
So, thank you so much for watching. I'm Rascal Entertainment.
And I'm Mom Entertainment.
Have a fantastic day.
Peace.
And reporters sitting flashing lights, trying to walk around, man, who the hell are you? What you wanna do? Well, man, it's on you. Man, it's on you. With her in my dreams, she was my queen. A castle in the mountaintops, rivers and streams. Plucking sunlight from the sky in my pocket, give it to you